Don't stop.
Hello and welcome to Grace and Lottie's going to be back in my Johanna's Christmas book today. I'm going to be working on the heart that I started the other day. You can see it's got the little booger in the corner right here. So I'm going to be working to help fix that a little bit. One of the great suggestions that was given to me was to use a paper punch to do that and to cut out the corner, which I thought, oh, that would be awesome. Sad thing is I don't own any corner punches, so I'm not gonna go out and buy one just for this one project, but I thought, oh, that would be really cool. So great idea there. If you have this issue, corner punch, good idea to help fix it. So add that one to your little sack of tricks that you have. Now, one thing that I noticed with this is that there are a couple of different spots in this one, and you can see where sometimes it's a separate area and other times it's not. I'm gonna add some extra black line on this to help segment these out because I'm gonna do the majority of this in my crystal, and then I haven't decided if it's gonna be silver or gold yet around these little extra areas. So I'm gonna add just a couple of lines with my pigment liners that I've got. I will show those right here on camera. So I've got my pigment liners right there. That I will add in just a couple of lines to help define that a little bit more. And I think it's gonna add a ton to this one because I'll be able to just help create a little more color going in this, and the fact that it is so few colors that I've only used the pink, the red, and the magenta or fuchsia, depending on what you want to call that shade, in this one. Now I am going to still stick with the back and the background, and so I've got a couple of ideas. I'm going to be using my Giocondas, and I will pull those right here so you see that. Right here, I use these back in the snow globe, and I like them a lot. They're pastel pencils, so they look a lot like just your regular color pencils, but instead they're filled with pastel, which lays down really bold colors, but also gives you the smudgeability that you get with pastel. So fun that you can play with there quite a bit, but you have to be careful because they do smudge. So make sure that you've got something to help hide your, or between your hand and work so that you don't smudge it by accident. These do not color match to the pencils, which I wish they did because that would be great, but they're not an exact, like you don't pick up the 2 here and it's the 2 in your color pencils. That's not the way these work. So if you got these, you're probably gonna want to go online and find the little printout that shows you the colors and their names, so that make a test swatch page, because that's really helpful with these. So I'll put a link below to one I found in the description so that you can get to that pretty easily. So let's get started. So I filmed a whole big section of me working with my Giocondas on this piece, and as you can see, you can't see it at all. It disappeared as soon as I put the fixative on it, so I'm not really gonna show all of that work because you can't even see it. So I'm gonna go ahead and work on the gel pens on this and see if I come up with another idea on how to kind of make it stand out on the black. Cause I don't want it to be just completely flat black, even though it does look kind of cool. I thought I wanted to put a little bit of extra on here. So I'm gonna think about that for a few minutes while I do the rest, and hopefully I'll come up with something cool. So let's get started again. Okay, I'm gonna refilm that part. Okay, so I filmed a whole big part of me putting in a whole lot around this with my Giocondas, only to find out that they don't show up like I thought they would on this. They show up great on black paper, but because this doesn't have as much tooth, it wasn't grabbing it like I thought it would, and so not the effect I was looking for at all. I was hoping that the heart would kind of glow off of it, but no, it just kind of gave it a little bit of color, but I don't even think the camera picks up any of it because I can barely see it looking at it here. So gonna try to come up with another idea while I work with the gel pens and see if I can come up with something else, because I don't really want it to just to be a flat black round. Even though it does look cool, I want it to have a little bit more to it. So hopefully I can come up with a good idea while I'm working. getting ready to do. I'm only going to film the first part of it because I just tested it to see how well it'll show up on here, and it shows up great up at the top, but there was no way to configure my lights or anything to where you could see when I did the same effect down at the bottom. So I'm only going to film up at the top because the bottom's going to be really boring because it's not going to be there doing anything. But what I'm going to be using are the couple of shades of red and pink that I have in the Jelly Roll Stardust that I got, as well as the black one. I think it calls that it's a silver, but it really doesn't look like much of a silver when I'm using it. Now there are 2 shades of pink in this, and I use the darker shade on the piece in here right there, and then on the dots. And there is one that's slightly lighter, and then a red. And when I've got a little tester sheet here that I was testing the thing. They don't look all that different, but just the subtlety of it will create a neat effect around the outside. So let's get started. Have it with some hearts just to kind of help fill in that black a little bit. Now I did all my hearts the same size, kind of. They're not exact, they're not measured, but you could do bigger ones, littler ones, you could do more. It's up to you what you want to do for this background. I just kind of gave a simple starting point for you guys to see the idea. I might go back and add more. I haven't decided yet, may just leave it where it is. So I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. As well as you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I post pictures there pretty regularly about what is going on and what I am creating. You can keep up with these things that are going to be in videos, as well as there's sometimes some things that aren't in videos, so you get to know the behind the scenes scoop of what's going on here in the studio. Remember that art happens in everyday life. Make sure you're watching for it.